recently toured the old house at Peace Field, home to former Presidents John Adams and John Quincy Adams. Located in Quincy, Massachusetts, it was first purchased by John and Abigail Adams in 1788. 4 generations of the Adams family lived in this house from 1788 until 1927. The oldest portion of the house was built in 1731 as a summer house for Leonard Vassall, a wealthy owner of slave labor sugar plantations in Jamaica. The 2.5-story frame house had a gambrel roof and separate kitchens with quarters for enslaved servants. The house became a museum run by the Adams Memorial Society, until it was incorporated into the National Park Service in 1946. The house contains a variety of valuable furnishings and artifacts which belong to the 4 generations of the family that lived there. Notable furnishings include John Adams's law desk and John and Abigail Adams's bed. Adjacent to the house is the Stone Library, built in 1873. It contains more than 12,000 books that belong to the Adamses. Today, about 10% of the books belong to the second U.S. President John Adams. The greater part of the remainder belonged to his son, 6th U.S. President, John Quincy Adams. In his will, John Quincy Adams requested that a fireproof structure be constructed separate from the house for the proper use of his books, papers and maps. Shown here is the west wall of the long room. The portraits, painted by Copley, are of Abigail Adams, John Adams, and John Quincy Adams. The family added 3 additions to the house. Abigail Adams greatly expanded it, adding what is now the right side of the front facade with a fine hallway and large parlor on the ground floor and a large study above. The additions were built in the Georgian style with a gambrel roof creating nearly a full attic story. The vast collection of original artifacts inside the old house helps curators relate the Adams family's legacy of service to their nation. By 1927, Brooks Adams, the last family member to live in the house, had set the stage for the Adams Memorial Society, made up of the direct descendants of John and Abigail Adams, to manage the property. In 1946, the National Park Service accepted the Adams family estate from the society to continue the family mandate to inspire civic virtue and patriotism. Adjacent to the house is a traditional English garden. The grounds of the old house now include a historic orchard, a greenhouse, carriage house and an 18th-century style formal garden. The property was originally a large farmland, much of which was sold by later generations who were no longer interested in farming. In time, Peace Field was changed from a working farm to a country estate as farming gave way to horticulture. A visit to this outstanding historical park will enable you to walk in the footsteps of one of America's great founding families.